Okay, so the report we're diving into today paints a really stark picture. We're talking about Minneapolis, winter of 2025, and the city is completely transformed, not by some blizzard, but by what the report calls the largest domestic federal enforcement operation in modern American history. And that wasn't just some exaggeration for a fact. According to the report, those are the exact words local officials on the ground were using to describe it, a military occupation. That tells you just how serious this felt to the people living through it. So what did this operation actually look like? Well, picture this. A force of roughly 3,000 federal agents. We're talking ICE, Customs and Border Protection, tactical units, the whole shebang. All of them sent into a single American city for a mission they called Operation Metro Surge. Now, just to give you an idea of the sheer scale here, that force of 3,000 federal agents was 5 times bigger than the city's entire police department. This wasn't just bringing in a little backup. The report frames this as a complete federal takeover of law enforcement in the city. So, what was the official reason? Why send in this massive force? Publicly, the administration said it was all about fighting systemic fraud, zeroing in on Minnesota's public assistance programs, and specifically a scandal called Feeding Our Future. And right here, this is where the report really starts to pull at the threads of that official story. The fraud narrative was the justification, sure, but did the facts on the ground actually support it? Let's look at the timeline, because this is where the report gets really skeptical. The Feeding Our Future investigation, it was started by state officials years before this. By the time the federal surge even began, 57 people had already been convicted. So the timing for an operation this massive just seems, well, it seems a little off, doesn't it? And this brings us to a crucial point in the analysis, something it calls a tactical mismatch. I mean, think about it. You're investigating financial fraud, a white-collar crime. You'd expect to see forensic accountants, auditors, right? You don't usually send in elite tactical units trained for urban warfare, carrying battering rams and sniper rifles to go over billing records. The tools just don't match the job. So if it wasn't really about the fraud case, what was it about? Well, this leads to the report's central argument, that the real goal was something else entirely. That Minneapolis was chosen as a testing ground, like a laboratory for a brand new, much more aggressive model of federal control over American cities. And a huge piece of this new model is something the report calls parapolicing. This basically means using private military contractors, in this case a firm called Reticence Group LLC, to do policing and security work. It just completely blurs the lines of who's in charge and makes public accountability, well, almost impossible. And then there's the technology. The report flags this one app, Mobile Fortify, as the absolute centerpiece of the surveillance game. You have to understand, this is essentially a biometric checkpoint that fits right into an agent's pocket, giving them the power to identify and track pretty much anyone, instantly. So how does this thing actually work on the street? It's pretty wild. An agent stops someone, takes a quick, contactless scan of their face or fingerprints, and in just a few seconds, the app runs what's called a super query. It pulls data from all sorts of federal and state databases and creates a full digital file on that person, right there on the agent's phone. And this app, it's not working alone, not by a long shot. The investigation found it's all hooked together with data from fusion centers, which kind of act like a backdoor around local privacy laws. It's also tied into facial recognition from Clearview AI and social network mapping from Palantir. Together, they create this huge, interconnected web of surveillance. But this operation wasn't just about data and tactics. It had absolutely devastating real-world consequences. The report documents a really significant human toll, which includes the tragic deaths of 2 American citizens. First, there was Renee Nicole Good, a 37-year-old mother. The report lays out this absolutely chaotic and tragic scene. Right after she dropped her son off at school, she was suddenly surrounded by federal agents in unmarked cars. According to the report, she was confused, probably terrified, and tried to drive away. And that's when an agent opened fire, killing her. And then, unbelievably, just 17 days after that, it happened again. A second U.S. citizen, Alex Pretty, who was a Navy veteran and an ICU nurse, was killed by federal agents while he was protesting the surge. It just underscored the finding that even exercising your First Amendment rights had become a lethal risk. Beyond the heartbreaking loss of life, the document describes this operation as a kind of economic warfare. People were afraid to leave their homes. Local businesses saw their revenues just plummet, some by as much as 80%. And on top of that, the administration froze $185 million in federal child care funds meant for the state. So what did Minnesota do? Well, they fought back. The state filed a major federal lawsuit, setting up this huge constitutional showdown. The lawsuit argues that the whole operation violates the 10th Amendment, which is supposed to limit federal power over the states. They're basically saying, you can't force a state to go along with a crisis that the federal government itself created. And this all brings us to the report's final and pretty chilling conclusion. The Minneapolis model, using a pretext for a militarized occupation, powered by all this high-tech surveillance, it's not being viewed as a one-off event. The report warns it's a replicable blueprint. In fact, a direct quote from the analysis makes this point with crystal clarity. It says, this model will not remain contained. It will be exported to Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, and beyond. The report is suggesting that the stakes here are absolutely national. And so, the report leaves all of us with this one massive, provocative question. It asks us to seriously consider whether what happened in Minneapolis is a preview of what's to come, and what that really means for the future of civil liberties in America.
Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment with any topic you'd like us to talk about in future videos, and don't forget to hit the like button. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment with any topic you'd like us to talk about in future videos, and don't forget to hit the like button.